What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Kosher Nostra back at you guys with another sneaker review, unboxing, and the on-feet look with the sock combo to match, guys. Let's jump right into another review. Alright guys, we've got another one of these really dope boxes where they've mashed all three of the Kyrie 4, 5, and 6 box into one. You can see hits of all three of those boxes on this if you are familiar with the three boxes. The Kybrid S2 in a size 11. This colorway is Vast Gray / Black, Sail, and Volt. A lot of colors listed on this colorway, which is not too typical. Kind of cool to see, guys. Retailing for $140 in the US. Let's check this colorway out. Bang, guys, there they are in hand, the Nike Kybrid S2 in what has been dubbed the What the 2.0 colorway, or what I'm gonna call the What the PE 2.0 colorway. These are insane. These really smack. I really liked that 1.0 colorway, which I guess you can see right here. I thought it was really unique how they came with this sort of khaki or sort of desert sand kind of colored upper. And if you picked those up, or if you checked those out thoroughly in hand, guys, you will see that this colorway actually mirrors those. If you look at the style code on the two, they're actually the same style code. What's been interesting about these drops so far with the Kybrids is they've all kind of had their own style code, except now we start to see the follow-ups with some of these 2.0 pairs. So guys, just to run through what they've released so far, we've got the What the PE 2.0, the What the PE 1.0 that was released. We have another What the colorway, which was the black colorway. This was not actually a PE version, so just the Kybrid What the. There was the really cool USA tie-dye colorway, and then of course there was the Shishiko colorway, guys, which I have to say I kind of slept on these, man. Once I got these things in hand and on feet, these things smack too. And guys, maybe the only colorway I didn't touch on, which actually hasn't dropped yet, it's gonna drop in about a week. Hopefully I can get the review out for you really quickly, and hopefully before these things actually hit shelves. My local stores dropped these early, so I went ahead and snatched them up before they realized what they'd done, guys. So you've got the What the 2.0. Again, guys, not a PE version. So guys, now that we've ran through all of those that they've sort of dropped or are about to drop very soon on the horizon, we can kind of circle back to these. And also we know there's sort of another What the multicolor pair that's kind of coming on the way. It features a lot of hits from that SpongeBob pack, which might make those one of the more popular colorways of these Kybrids that have hit shelves so far. So we know in total, guys, there's going to be at least 7 of these things, and honestly they're all really cool, really unique, and I really personally like all of the colorways a lot. Now, having said all that, if we don't include that What the multicolor colorway, which hasn't actually dropped yet because I haven't seen those in hand and been actually able to sort of formulate my own opinion of those things, even though I know how I'm gonna feel about these, this colorway might be my favorite. It's definitely up there because they're pretty unique and they're pretty colorful. One thing about all of these Kybrid S2 drops so far, there's really just been one color that's dominated the majority of the shoe. Even though these shoes are mostly What the type colorways, they've really dressed the shoe in one color and maybe accented it in 2 or 3 colors. And then on this shoe, we've got a little bit more going on, guys. We of course have the hits of black and white and some sort of neutral grays that are in between. There's kind of like some sort of sail or sort of off-white type hits. If you look at the midsole, we've got some pink, we've got some Volt, we have this kind of darker blue kind of teal color on the laces and on the heel counter, and then a little splash of infrared on the outsole. So all in all, there's a little bit more color going on to the shoe, and maybe sort of a little bit more color variety and kind of crazy color combinations thrown onto the shoe, which, guys, in my opinion, going all the way back to the one, it's really been sort of a staple with the Kyrie, the sort of crazy color combinations that we've come to expect with some of these Kyrie drops. And I feel like this shoe kind of checks some more of those boxes, guys. Now, the shoe itself, in terms of tech and everything else, of course, guys, this is a combination of the Kyrie 4, 5, and 6. We saw them do that with the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s, where they threw those into the S1, which they actually just dubbed the Kyrie Hybrid. There was only 3 colorways that dropped, and they were regional drops. So here in the US, we were really only able to get our hands on 1. It was pretty limited. It really didn't hit a lot of stores. I like that shoe a lot. I'm a sucker for the strap on that Kyrie 2, so I knew I was gonna dig that colorway. Always meant to grab the other ones, just never really saw my size for a steal or for a decent price or in a good condition. So guys, I just have the 1, but guys, my S2 collection is definitely a little more heavy than the S1 collection and continues to grow with these drops, which have all been really pretty easy to get, pretty widespread drops. When it comes to the actual Kyrie 4, we see most of the Kyrie 4 make up the outsole of the shoe and the midsole of the shoe, the toe box of the shoe, and the slight little mud guard, which we see, which is a little bit more prominent on the medial side of the toe box. That's all, again, pulled from the Kyrie 4. And I think the real main reason that they did that, guys, is because the teeth on the outsole that sort of encroach up onto the midsole and really onto the uppers of the shoe are really just the #1 main staple, the #1 thing that I really think of when I think Kyrie 4s. It's that crazy outsole, guys. Not only was that outsole really prominent on the shoe, but guys, the way they decided to color block the outsoles on just about all the Kyrie 4s was insane. I have to say that with these S2 Kybrids, that's one thing that's lacking a little bit in my opinion. I wish they would kind of reach back to some of those Kyrie 4 colorways, bring some of those back, or maybe mesh some of those and create some kind of cool new color patterns. However, guys, on all of these S2 Kybrid drops, what we've seen them do is basically do the outsole in 1 color on the entire outsole, and then there's been 2 little hits of color on this little half eye that we see on the left shoe, which of course kind of culminates in the right shoe, and you see how they kind of play off on one another. I think it's cool. It's unique to the Kybrids. This isn't something we don't really see on any of the 4s, any of the 5s, or any of the 6s. However, guys, after seeing it 6 times now, and I suspect a 7th when they drop that multicolor colorway, it really kind of makes me wish they do something a little bit different and maybe throw some of those crazy colored outsoles that we saw on some of the Kyrie 4s, like the equality colorway, or what would really be even cooler, especially on one of these PE type colorways, would be to bring back some of those really unique Kyrie 4 outsoles and give us one of those, man, or give us 2 of those. Give us one on the right shoe and one on the left shoe. I think that would really sell this shoe. Again, guys, in my opinion, it was one of the things that the Kyrie 4 really kind of became best known for. They took chances on those outsoles. They were my favorite outsoles on any of the Kyries in terms of color blocking. Maybe not so much performance wise, because that Zoom Turbo unit didn't make its debut until the Kyrie 5, and because of that, we don't see that Zoom Turbo unit make an appearance in any of these Kybrids so far. They've gone with the Kyrie 4 outsole and the more standard kind of Zoom Air unit that is featured in the back heel portion of the shoe. After the 4s, starting with the 5s, not only did they bring you the Zoom Turbo unit to the shoe, but they moved it up to the forefront of the shoe, which I think makes a lot more sense, provides a lot more cushion, because guys, when you're playing basketball, when you're jumping and when you're landing, when you're pivoting, when you're doing all those sorts of things, you're really doing that off of the ball of your foot and not the heel of your foot, guys. So it makes more sense to put that Zoom Turbo unit up there and not back in the heel like they did with the Kyrie 4s. The actual strap mechanism of the shoe that we see the lacing system and the fly wire are sort of intertwined into, that's going to all be pulled from the Kyrie 5. The fly trap strap from the Kyrie 5 was something that you either loved because it worked for you, it's definitely super functional, or you hated it because, guys, it made it so you couldn't even get these things on feet. The Kyrie 5 was a super hard shoe to get on foot because, number one, guys, it's narrow, as all these Kyries pretty much are. They pretty much tend to run about a half size small. Some people go true to size because they like that really snug fit, but typically, guys, most people are going to size up about a half size in these Kyries. And on the Kyrie 5, getting your foot into the shoe because of the fly trap, it was difficult mainly because the lacing system of the shoe only loosens up but so much, guys. So if you had really wide feet, really fat feet, really wide ankles, it was a struggle to get your foot in this shoe. And honestly, on these Kybrids, in my opinion, it's more difficult to get your foot in this shoe because the back half of the shoe is pulled from the Kyrie 6. So the ankle collar and the heel counter and all of the color blocking that sort of decorates the swooshes on the medial and the lateral side of the shoe, those are all going to be pulled from the Kyrie 6. I feel like the Kyrie 6 ankle collar sits slightly higher than the Kyrie 5. Thus, this shoe is a little bit more difficult to get on foot because there's a little bit more of the shoe. It sits a little higher, so you're struggling to get your foot into the shoe. For me, guys, it got to the point where the Kyrie 5 really wasn't a struggle to get on feet, even a brand new pair of Kyrie 5s. But these things, I feel like I do struggle to unlace them a little bit and put them on for the first time and continue to put them on going forward. So these things definitely run super snug, super tight. A difficult shoe to get on foot because of all the gimmicks that are kind of coming into play, especially the fly trap and the lacing system of the shoe, guys. But as we touched on, they continue to improve the Kyrie silhouette with each iteration, and they brought that heel counter from the 6, which I think is pretty aesthetically pleasing. And guys, it feels pretty good on the back of your foot because, guys, that rubber compound that they used is rigid enough to sort of lock you in place, but forgiving enough to do so without really kind of making your ankle sort of blister or rub or anything like that. It's going to lock you down to the footbed of the shoe and give you the confidence to kind of jump and run full speed, do all the things that you really want to on the court without sort of throwing into the back of your mind that you might twist an ankle or something like that, guys. So guys, really quickly, let's touch on all the color blocking and stuff on the shoe. The back portion on the right shoe, there was an Out of the Darkness and Into the Spotlight colorway of the Kyrie 4s. It was somewhat of a basic PE. However, the left shoe and the right shoe sort of transitioned from black to white. One shoe said Out of the Darkness, the other shoe said Into the Spotlight, and they hit you with that on the right portion of this shoe. A really dope Kyrie 4 PE. You've got some sort of like tropical kind of palm tree type hits on the actual toe box. I believe all of that is from the Kyrie EYBL, which was a pretty hard pair to get your hands on. There were some out there, but they were again released to people who were hooping in the EYBL tournament. I like how the black and white contrasts with that sort of darker blue lace, the hits of Volt, the little infrared hit that's used on the Kyrie Irving signature that's right there on the fly trap as well. And then it counters really nicely with the sort of Volt hit that's on the tongue. You see that 369 kind of all-seeing eye print that they used basically on all the Kyrie 4s. I think they hid that behind the tongue pretty much on all those Kyrie 4s. As we turn to the medial portion of the shoe, again, you can see some more hits of the zebra print from that fly trap. One little touch that's unique to this colorway that actually wasn't on that sort of desert kind of camo colorway is going to be this sort of X with the little line, almost like for a signature that we see on the back portion of the midsole on the lateral portion of the shoe. Can't off the top of my head really think what colorway that was from, but a nice little addition right there. Be pretty cool to kind of do a little bit more research and maybe figure that out. As we turn to the medial portion of the shoe, again, you can see some more hits of that zebra print on the fly strap where the strap begins on that lower portion of the shoe. The little hits of pink on the midsole, nice little touches right there, nice little contrast. And then we have this sort of drawn kind of graffiti print all over that portion of the shoe, which I think is another nice little touch. The swoosh on that right shoe is kind of textured and almost has like this kind of metallic feel to it. I want to say that was pulled from one of the concept collabs, but we've probably seen similar swooshes on some of the other Kyries. That red carpet colorway had a pretty similar swoosh as well. However, it had a little bit of a different feel to the actual texture itself. The inner sock liner kind of has this sort of marbled, kind of smoky kind of texture going on to it. A nice little touch right there. The back of the tongue has the traditional Kyrie Irving logo that we typically see on the actual front of the tongue. You got some more of that sort of blue kind of teal color on that back heel counter where we have the healer's hand on the right shoe with the all-seeing eye inside. I think it's cool how they threw that on the right shoe, which is going to be from the Kyrie 6. And they kept sort of the same heel counter, however, they dressed it in the actual design from the Kyrie 5, which was just the more traditional all-seeing eye and that sort of triangle right there. Pretty cool little contrast. That's on most of these Kybrids, minus I want to say like the Shishiko colorway and probably that USA colorway. On the lateral side of the shoe, it's really dominated in that kind of black and white and gray camo color that we see right there. We have this really kind of cool pattern that dominates the fly strap on this shoe with the all-seeing eye triangles throughout. You have the different SB themed hits on the sock liner where we have that kind of picnic print right there. Again, really dope touches on the sock liners on both of these shoes, just like they did on that desert camo colorway. Both the swooshes are going to be stitched on, whether medial or lateral portion of the shoe. And then guys, as we turn to the medial portion of the shoe, you got some hits from that Kyrie London pair right there, which was another really unique colorway, a really dope release from the Kyrie. That actually released overseas. I want to say it was still pretty limited. I've seen one of those in hand, and that colorway smacked. I love that colorway. Just really unique with kind of the hits of purple and yellow and kind of cream and stuff like that. But the size I saw was way too small for me, so I didn't even bother. If I can't wear it, guys, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna add it to my collection. That's just not how I get down. You have the more traditional Kyrie Irving logo on the actual tongue right here. On the left shoe, the logos from the tongue are reversed on the left shoe from the right shoe. So you've got the Kyrie Irving traditional logo on the front of the tongue, and then you have that all-seeing eye sort of triangular logo that we saw on all the Kyrie 4s on the back of the tongue. These are really awesome, guys. I really like this colorway. The only thing I'll really say as they continue to release these colorways is that it makes me wish that these things were color blocked and colored in the exact colors that they released. I understand they've now released sort of 2 variations of this, so one of these would probably have to stay the same while the other one went back and went true to the actual hits from the PE colorways that released. I think that would be awesome. That would be really unique to give us that, guys. I'm not saying they need to necessarily release a 3rd one of these, but if I had it my way, that's I think what they would have done. So that's I think what maybe is gonna make that multicolor colorway my favorite of these, barring any other future colorways. But I will say I like all of these for what they are. That's just me kind of nitpicking a little bit. However, guys, these things are awesome. These things smack. These things will definitely be unique in my collection. And going forward, you know, when I'm looking at all my 6s and all my 7s or whatever, I'll definitely pause for the cause for the S2 hybrids, guys, because these things are awesome, man. They did a really good job on these, and these colorways have been memorable, unique, and honestly exciting for me. I've really looked forward to grabbing these. Guys, what do y'all think? This review has been insanely long. Hopefully I can edit it down to at least half of how long it's taken me to blurt all this out of my mouth. Let me know down below, guys. You like these? You feeling these? You waiting on that multicolor colorway? You looking forward to that cargo khaki, I think they're calling the next one? Let's check them out on feet. Y'all know what to do. Comment, like, subscribe. Throw me a question down below. I'll try to hit y'all back. Much love. Peace.